Miss Hardcastle. Mr. Marlowe. I am proud, bringing two persons of such worth together that only wish to know, to esteem one another.
Now for meeting my modest gentleman with a demure face and quite in his own manner. I'm glad of your safe arrival, sir. I was told you had some accidents, by the way.
Yes, madam, we had some accidents, madam. We had a few, madam, but we had a good many accidents, madam, but should be sorry, or rather glad of any accidents that are so fortunately concluded.
Bravo, bravo, you never spoke so well in your whole life. Keep it up, I'll grant you insurance.
I'm afraid you flatter, sir. You that have seen so much of the finest company can find little entertainment in an obscure corner of the country.
I have lived indeed in the world, madam, but have kept very little company. I have been an observer upon life, madam, while others were enjoying it.
But that, I am told, is the way to enjoy it at last.
Cicero never spoke better. You will be receiving assurance forever.
Stand by me then, and when I'm down, throw in a word or two to set me up again.
An observer like you upon life were, I fear, disagreeably employed, since you must have had much more to censure than to approve.
Pardon me, madam, I have always been willing to be amused. The folly of most people is rather an object of mirth than uneasiness.
Bravo, bravo, best speech in your whole life. Well, Miss Hardcastle, I can see that you and Mr. Marlowe are going to be very good company. Our being here will but embarrass the interview.
No, George, we enjoy your company most among all things. Sure, George, you can't stay. How can you do this?
Our presence will but spoil conversation, so we'll retire to the next room. Besides, man, you don't consider we'd like a little tete-a-tete of our own.
But you have not wholly been an observer, I presume, sir. The ladies, I should hope, have employed some part of your dresses.
Pardon me, madam. I have only yet studied to deserve them.
And that, some say, is the very worst way to obtain them.
Perhaps so, madam, but I love to converse with only the more grave and sensible part of the sex. But I'm afraid I grow tiresome.
Not at all, sir. There is nothing I like so much as grave conversation myself. I could hear it forever. Indeed, I have often been surprised how a man of sentiment could ever admire those light, airy pleasures where nothing reaches the heart.
It's a disease of the mind, madam. In the variety of tastes, there are some whom upon strict inquiry, do not
I understand you, sir. There must be some who, wanting a relish for refined pleasures, pretend to despise what they are incapable of tasting.
My meaning, madam, my meaning, but infinitely better expressed. and I can't help but observe, madam, that
Who could ever suppose this fellow impudent upon some occasion? You were observing, sir.
I protest, madam, I forget what I was going to observe.
I vow, and so do I. You were observing, sir, that in this hypocritical age, something about hypocrisy, sir?
Yes, madam. In this There are those whom upon strict inquiry do not
I understand you perfectly, sir.
Gad, and that's better than I do myself.
You mean that in this hypocritical age, there are those that do not condemn in public what they practice in private, and think they pay every debt to virtue when they praise it.
Perhaps so, madam. There are those who have more virtue in their mouths than in their bosoms. But I'm afraid I'm grotesque.
Not at all, sir. There is something so agreeable and spirited in your manner. Such life and force. Pray, sir, go on.
Yes, madam. There are those, madam, whom upon having an abundance of courage, or rather a lack of it, do not. They find.
I agree with you entirely. A want of courage upon some occasions assumes the appearance of ignorance and betrays us when we most want to excel. I beg you'll proceed.
Yes, madam. Morally speaking, madam. But I see Miss Neville in the Hastings in the next room. I for not the world would intrude.
I protest, sir. I never was more agreeably entertained in all my life. Pray, sir, go on.
Yes, madam. But she beckons. Madam, may I do myself the honor of attending you?
Well then. I'll follow.
This talk is about done for me. Oh.
Oh, was there ever such a sober and sentimental interview? I'm certain he scarce looked in my face the whole time. Yet, the fellow, but for his unaccountable bashfulness, is pretty well too. He has good sense, but then so buried in his fears, it fatigues one more than ignorance. If I could just teach him a little confidence, that would be doing somebody that I know of a good favor. But who is that somebody? That faith is a question I can scarce